All right, so as we head into the post-All-Star break tomorrow, I wanted to talk about, for people who are in fantasy hockey and hockey polls and all that stuff, that I generally stay away from, but I wanted to talk about guys that if you're in a pool and, hey, if there's a guy you can pick up, who might be a guy to pick up coming out of the All-Star break. So I looked through all 31 teams and I said, all right, now watching as much hockey as I do, which is a lot, which admittedly over the last few days I've stayed away from so that things are all nice and fresh tomorrow night when hockey starts up again. It's been, it's been an enjoyable time of watching hockey for me this year, and there are some, I think, value pickups. If you look at guys, I'm going to explain this. I came up with one or two for every team, and for some teams it was difficult. Again, I'll come to that. With the Anaheim Ducks, Sprong, for me, has been a value addition for them from Pittsburgh. 39 games played, 8 goals, 8 assists. I think there's room there for him to come up with, I'd say, another 8 goals after the All-Star break. I think he's going to get his chance, especially if they sell off at the deadline. Raquel, 38 games, 8 goals, 16 assists. Of course, he's fought through injury and whatnot, but he scored a bunch of goals last year, and I'm still waiting for that boost from him, and I think it could come after the deadline, or after the All-Star break heading into the deadline. Connor Garland. So if you're not watching Arizona games, and I understand if you're not, because, Arizona's been bad for a long time. They don't garner a lot of attention. They're out west, or for people in the east, if you're going to stay up late to watch a game, you're not going to stay up late to watch an Arizona game against, say, Vancouver or something like that. So you may not have seen much of Connor Garland, who's got 9 goals, 3 assists in 23 games. But honestly, he's being given every chance to succeed with the Arizona Coyotes. And I would be very surprised if he doesn't end up being one of the more talked about young players by the end of this season. He's worthy of it. He doesn't just score with his face, he scores with his hands as well. Because the one that went off his face is the one that everybody's going to see in highlight packages for forever. But he's a pretty solid kid with a good touch around the net. Boston, I came up with Donato. And Ryan Donato has struggled this year, and he struggled out of the gate. And I was fine with the Boston Bruins sending him down. 34 games played, 6 goals, 3 assists. I expect better out of him coming out of the All-Star break. I still think that potential is there. I don't know if he's struggling with confidence, if teams are checking him harder than they did last year when he came in towards the end of the year and into the playoffs. But I expect more out of him. I almost put up Heinen, but I don't really expect that much with Heinen. I think his production, I think he's going to be a 10-goal guy, 25, 30-point guy for his career. Middlestad is up there, 48 games, 7 goals and 7 assists for him. I think Middlestad's scoring picked up over the last few weeks heading into the deadline, and I think he is showing signs of some progression. Again, not all prospects come in and score like Peterson has. Peterson. Doesn't matter. I did a video on it, I'm just going to, it doesn't matter. Anyways, Middlestad, I do think is going to pick up his game. I think he's going to get things going. I almost put Tkachuk on the board for the same reason, but Brady Tkachuk, I think, is kind of a known entity. And I would imagine for people who have him in their fantasy, they might be like, well, I could drop him, but then he's going to start scoring. So, that kind of thing. Sam Bennett in Calgary, 49 games, 9 goals, 10 assists. The pressure's kind of off of him to score, and the pressure's kind of off of him in terms of his offensive potential. I'm kind of thinking that it might start showing up. There's a lot of confidence in his game right now, and I had thought about putting Jankowski on the board as well. I guess Jankowski you might look at as well. It's a matter of ice time, right? So if there's an injury and Bennett moves up the lineup, that could make all the difference in the world. In Carolina, Manalainen, 13 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. Manalainen's been pretty amazing in his run with Carolina. It's been limited, though, but I do think he's going to continue to have an expanded role with the team after the All-Star break, and I think that his scoring could help to resolve some of the issues they've had in this lineup. You look at goals per game, you look at shooting percentage, not fantastic for Carolina. This could make a difference. Chicago, I got 2 on the board there. I've got Dylan Strome. Now, if you're a Hawks fan, you know Strome's been playing well. 47 games, 12 goals, 15 assists. For the season, which doesn't reflect how he's done in Chicago. But honestly, his numbers have been pretty solid with Chicago. And I think Strome is a guy that may have that extra gear after the deadline, especially with the fact that they're sellers and the fact that he's been playing with some pretty fantastic talent. You look at the talent around Strome in Chicago and who they're putting him with. You compare it with who he's playing with in Arizona. That makes a huge difference. And I also put Yoki Haru on the board. He scored a bunch of points early in the year, has tailed off since then, but he seems to be playing better lately. So 37 games, 12 assists. But I think that the offense is there. I look at least for his first NHL goal before the end of the year. For Colorado, the one I came up with was Girard. 50 games, 2 goals, 12 assists. I like Girard's game. If he gets the right amount of ice time, it's tricky. I know, but I had to come up with at least one for each team, which is why for Columbus I came up with Boone Jenner. 48 games played, 9 goals, 12 assists, and I think the breakthrough is still there. Now, a breakthrough could mean he gets, say, 8 goals in the last 30-some games of the year and ends up with 17 on the season, which is still well short of the 30 level, which he was expected to be at year after year as of a couple seasons ago. But I still think there's something there, and I still think that Columbus is a dangerous team this year. Dallas, I have to put Janmark on the board because I like his work ethic. 49 games played, 3 goals, 12 assists. The work is there, the goals are not. I am hoping that he proves me right on this one, that he's ready for a really solid run after the All-Star break. And I put Gurianov on there. I put Gurianov on there because he's played 12 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. Now, I've been vocal about how I've not been impressed with Gurianov before this season. He shows signs. He shows little flash and dash here and there in each game he plays for Dallas that tells me that, again, it's with that right chance. And that's the trick with some of these young kids, is if he can get his confidence up and believe in his shot and believe in his offensive skill, Gurianov could be the difference for Dallas. Dallas is one of those teams, too, that's looking for 1 or 2 more guys that can put the puck in the net. And maybe Gurianov could end up being that guy and prove me wrong, which would make me happy. For Detroit, I came up with Bertuzzi. I'm going to explain why. So they're selling off guys like Bertuzzi, and there's others who are going... Or not Bertuzzi. Nyquist is the name I'm looking for. And there's other forwards who could go, like Vanek, right? So it could mean Bertuzzi gets more numbers. I'll tell you why. 49 games played, 13 goals, 15 assists. That's pretty decent totals. But he only has 1 power play goal, so special teams time has been low. So if you move guys out and Bertuzzi gets more special teams time, this guy could start putting up a ton of points. And suddenly we're like, wow, where did Bertuzzi come from? And that's what I'm trying to do with this video. Lucic is the guy for Edmonton, because even though he's got 5 goals and 7 assists, you know what? He's been pretty effective since the 1st of January. He's at least been scoring at a better pace, which doesn't say a lot when you only score, 2 goals in the year of 2018 or whatever it was. But still, Lucic is showing signs that he's woken up, and he may be ready to help the Oilers out now. I still don't see them as a playoff team, but at least there's that. Maybe Lucic at least gets to double digits in goals and 25 points, that kind of thing this year, which is better than what he was on pace for as of December 31st. For Florida, I come up with 2. Nick Bjugstad, 32 games, 5 goals, 7 assists. Played very well over the last couple of weeks. The return of Trocheck seems to have helped him. So it just seems to have helped the whole Florida lineup, really, when it comes to their scoring. Now, whether or not there's too much time that's passed for them to actually do anything about reaching the postseason, that's a whole other topic. I do think Bjugstad could be a good value pickup. And I've got Borgstrom there, 18 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. Borgstrom has the talent. It's, again, a matter of ice time. It's a matter of finding the right opportunity. With that opportunity, he could absolutely excel. LA, I actually came up with 2 as well, because Leipzig, his point totals, they've been there recently. The effort's there, and again, and he did it in Vancouver, he did it in Vegas. He's been doing this his whole career. Where Leipzig, who now sits with 40 games, 4 goals and 9 assists, leaves you thinking he's close. He's almost there. He's close. He'll break through soon. You get that feeling with him. And Adrian Kempe, who's had a down year after his solid year last year. 49 games played, 5 goals, 8 assists, but it's been picking up for him. And I kind of think that if LA's going to get rolling, you need guys like Leipzig and Kempe to be a big part of it, because there's a lot of veteran guys ahead of them in the lineup that haven't really provided that spark. Minnesota, I have Greenway there, 49 games, 9 goals, 7 assists for him. And again, I'm looking for just under the radar, could be a really value addition, and I think Greenway for Minnesota could be that. Absolutely. Montreal, I got 2 for Montreal. Kotkaniemi, 51 games, 6 goals, 17 assists. And why I have Kotkaniemi on the board is simple. We all know he's a young kid. We all know he's, taking on this role in the lineup maybe before he's necessarily ready. But I think his play is getting better as the year goes along. I think Kotkaniemi is showing as the year goes along he's better, and I think it'll just keep getting better. And after an all-star break of a nice week off and a chance to clear his head, I think Kotkaniemi could be fantastic. Armia is another one. 26 games, 6 goals, 6 assists for him. Yoel Armia has been playing fantastic the last couple of weeks. And the offense may finally show up. That offense we've been waiting for since he was a Buffalo prospect may finally be showing up this year for him with Montreal, which would be good news for a Montreal team that does at times struggle to score. Nashville, I know people don't like Austin Watson, and I get it, and I get why, and I'm not going to try to convince you that you should like him. However, 34 games, 7 goals, 6 assists. He's been playing very well lately. And Watson, for me, is another one of these, a sandpaper guy. And if he's going, it's sort of like Tom Wilson in Washington. It's that same kind of character that it brings. And I get why people don't like him, and I understand. He's also come out lately publicly and talked about his own issues that he's had personally and that he's working on overcoming all of that. And I give him kudos for the fact that he'll come out publicly and make these statements. And I don't, at this stage, have any reason to say anything really negative about him. I have thought that Austin Watson had this game, this offensive side of his game since I watched him in the American League a couple years ago, and I was really impressed with his game down there. Bratt is my guy for New Jersey. 34 games, 4 goals, 16 assists. Don't get distracted by the 4 goals. He's putting up the point totals. He's playing well. I do think he is due for some more goals, however. So that's why I have him on the board. I think he's going to start putting it in the net. Devon Taves, or Devon Taves. I've heard it pronounced both ways. So Devon, I'll say Devon. For the New York Islanders, 15 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. Last year, Garth Snow, after a disappointing year for the Islanders, said part of what sunk the Islanders' season was that Devon Taves got injured and didn't get to play. And his play this year has been pretty solid. And he's out on the ice a lot. Because he's only played 15 games, people may not be paying much attention to him yet. They should be. He's been a big part of the Islanders' blue line recently. And I think he's capable of more points. Hedl with the Rangers. Hedl's been getting better as well. 47 games, 9 goals, 9 assists for him, for a total of 18 points. And he, much like Mittelstadt, feels like a rookie that's getting better as the season goes along. Some of them hit that wall at 50 games. Some of them get eased into the lineup and gradually get better. And I usually feel better about the rookies that get better during the season rather than the ones that hit that 50-game wall, where after that, their point totals just drop and they don't look the same. The ones that get better as the season rolls along, technically, it's the same amount of points probably as the guy that hit the wall, but I feel better about them going into the next season, about their confidence, and about their ability to adapt to the game. On the Ottawa Senators, I'm going to go out on a limb here with Bobby Ryan. 47 games, 11 goals, 19 assists. Here's the reason why. Bobby Ryan, with that contract, and just the fact that he has been an underachiever for so long, it is easy to take Bobby Ryan and just go, nope, the guy sucks, and forget about it. But he's been pretty solid this year for Ottawa on a team that has not been great, and I've been very impressed with his game, actually, over the last little while. And I say that as somebody who's been very vocal about Bobby Ryan not making a lot of effort at times, looking lost out there at other times, looking like the game's passed him by. This year, he's playing very, very well. And I also included Wolanin. Wolanin, 12 games played, 3 goals, 2 assists. Much like Taves, Wolanin may be a guy that slides by because you may not be aware of how well he's playing. And playing in Ottawa, a team that is at the bottom of the league, it's easy to look at Wolanin and go, he's just another player on a bad team. Played pretty well. And I think there's more offensive upside there than I had expected with him anyways. On the Phillies side, Nolan Patrick's been getting better. 41 games, 9 goals, 8 assists. There is still hope that Nolan Patrick will be a solid top 6 forward in the NHL. That hope is still there. On the Pittsburgh side, Rust, 47 games played, 11 goals, 11 assists. Simone, 40 games played, 7 goals, 13 assists. These guys are under the radar for me for a simple reason. You get a chance to play with Crosby, you get a chance to play with Malkin, and regardless of which guy they're going to play with, they're going to get points. And Simone, especially for me, is a guy that I really think there's another gear there, and I'm sort of kind of waiting for it. On the San Jose side, I don't have to tell people just how much I like Sorensen. 52 games played, 10 goals, 7 assists for him. I think there's more there. I do. And Radil, 27 games played, 6 goals, 4 assists. Again, another one that since he hasn't played every game, it's easy to overlook him. But I think he's been pretty darn solid. And I think coming out of the All-Star break, you could see a lot out of him. San Jose, Jaden Schwartz, 36 games played, 3 goals, 18 assists. Again, the 3 goals might put people off, but if if St. Louis is going to get into this, if St. Louis is going to overcome that slow start and actually get into the playoffs, Schwartz is going to be a key guy for them. He is absolutely going to be a key guy for them going forward. On the Tampa Bay side of things, there's a lot of players. A lot of players I could have picked for this, because there's a lot of guys in this lineup that are really talented, and there's just not enough ice time to go around. Cirelli stands out for me as a guy with 49 games played and 9 goals and 10 assists. And I understand that that's a pretty solid pace for a young kid in this lineup. I still think there's more there. And I think that as we get past to and past the trade deadline, I think it's depth scoring for Tampa that's going to decide just how close they get to that all-time record of 130-plus points. And Sergachev, 45 games played, 2 goals, 16 assists. Certainly easy to look at his early season returns and say, well, he's going through the sophomore slump. And he did. And now he's been coming out of it. He's been scoring pretty well lately. And I think there's more to it. I think there's more there. And I think he's going to put up a bunch of points. I think we're up to the stage now where he's going to get more minutes. He's going to push for that. He's going to prove himself. And I think if he gets the right amount of power play time, you look at who they put on that power play, he'll get you some power play assists. Nylander for Toronto. Don't laugh. 21 games played, 1 goal, 6 assists for William Nylander. And I get it. The contract sucks. And I've talked about how, and so far, we can agree, I hope Toronto fans agree that so far the contract, he hasn't played up to it. But he's still William Nylander. He's still the guy that scored 60-plus points last year. And I think that with the time off, and you come back in and you start playing again this week, I think he's going to be fine. I think Toronto's going to be fine too. I think that by the end of the year, all of this turmoil with Toronto, I think, will be kind of in the rearview mirror. Not with the press, but with the fans. The press will never allow turmoil to be in the rearview mirror because it sells. On the Vancouver side of things, I got 2 guys. I got Berchi, who has been playing better lately. 21 games, 8 goals, 5 assists. Now, I say playing better. He's finally looking like Berchi again after the concussion. And there was worries that he was going to have to retire. And as a Canuck fan, I get worried about him taking a hit and ending up out of the game for the rest of his life. But that's a concern that's going to be there for a while. And I hope it's there for a long while, meaning I hope he plays for a long while before anything like that happens to him. If Berchi is capable of staying in the lineup and producing like he was before the break, the Canucks absolutely are in this because it gives them top 6 scoring. Speaking of which, Josh Levo, 46 games played. He's now at 9 goals, 4 assists. Levo has another gear. And it's funny because when he was in Toronto, there was a part of me that said, oh, well, Toronto fans and media, they hype up a lot of their prospects and young players so much. And it's fine because they're really, really keen on all of their players becoming these big stars, or at the very least, getting to that grand potential, not halfway, whole 100% of the potential. Levo has a lot of talent there, and I think he'll be a Canuck for a while. I genuinely think that he's been very impressive, and even though his points may never get into the 50-60 range, I think those 13, I think that's way low when you look at his potential coming out of the All-Star break. I think he could score a bunch, especially if the Canucks, with a better schedule after the All-Star break, if they're able to put up better results, watch for Levo to get a lot of prime minutes on a team that really does need that skill in the top 6. For Capitals, closest I could get is Boyd. Boyd with 4 goals and 11 assists in 30 games. Might be a value addition for those of you with the fantasy hockey thing going. And an under-the-radar guy. And under-the-radar is the key, right? So with Washington, a team that just won the Stanley Cup in June, it's really hard to find an under-the-radar addition because we know these guys so well. We watched them so much in last year's playoffs. At the very least, I did. I watched them a ton last year in the playoffs because it's kind of what I do. And, Boyd's the one guy I look at and say might be value. And I thought about Burakovsky because I know there's people who want to mention it. But you know what? Burakovsky's had so many stops and starts. It's clear that he's on his way out of Washington. And I don't know that I have any faith in his top 6 upside anymore. Because if he had this tremendous talent level, Washington wouldn't be trying to trade him. That's my problem. That's what my brain can't wrap its head around, is if he was really this good that all this speculation was worth it, Washington wouldn't be trying to get rid of him. I really don't think they would. I talked him up last year during the playoffs, and then this year he's just fallen flat. Okay, Winnipeg. Roslovic and Lemieux stand out. These are guys who are not getting ice time, and they will. They're going to force their way into it. Roslovic, 47 games played, 2 goals and 8 assists. Lemieux, 32 games played, 6 goals and 1 assist. And one great thing for the Winnipeg Jets is this depth. It is the fact that you've got guys in that bottom 6 who are very skilled and capable of moving up and providing at the next level. So if there's injuries for the Winnipeg Jets, don't be scared to pick one of these guys up because they'll probably step into a bigger role. Lemieux especially, just with everything he brings, and I know he's going to be a hated guy because his dad was, and he seems to be on that same kind of a track. Not with the offensive upside of his dad necessarily, but I still think he's capable of a little bit more than he's shown so far. So there you go. Let me know your picks, and I'm just talking like under the radar. If you're looking for guys to pick up who might have a really solid run after the All-Star break that people aren't talking about, let me know in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.